Do all women have a backup plan before they leave their husband or boyfriend? According to some guys on the internet, all women have a backup plan and all women cheat. You can't trust these damn women. Well, I know that's not true because I didn't have a backup plan and I didn't cheat. And none of the women that I know who got divorced had a backup plan, cheated, or got money in the divorce from alimony or child support. No one I know. I think it's very dangerous when people start saying all women do this, all men do that. I do not think that poor behavior is limited by sex. There are women who cheat, there are men who cheat. There are men who are physically abusive and there are women who are verbally abusive. Some of us left a relationship with no money because we would rather be alone than be in that relationship, and we did not have anyone waiting. We didn't know what was going to happen, and we were counting and trusting in the universe to show us the next step because we were on a growth path. Some of us are more committed to honesty, authenticity, and personal growth than using people, cheating on people, and just being, frankly, lowlifes. I refuse to be lumped in with these women, and I also want to set the record straight that it's not true. There are a lot of like these people going around saying all women do this and all men do that, and I don't believe in that. I never had a boyfriend cheat on me except one time. I do not think that men cheat on women. Some men do, but not all men. I'm certain my husband never cheated on me in 25 years of marriage. I'm certain he didn't, and I'm certain that he knew I didn't cheat on him. I'm certain he knew that. There's no monkey branching. It's just very upsetting when I come across these videos, making up, you know, like pitting people against each other unnecessarily. I think it would be more helpful to say, when my wife left me, she had someone lined up. How did I not see that coming? That would be a lot more useful. Because a lot of women don't do that. Now, I have met in all these years, I've been single, I made so many friends. There was one gal I knew, she was super fun to go out with, and she was unhappy with her boyfriend. I think she was like around 40, early 40s, and he was like late 20s. He was a younger guy, and he was like really into her, but she wasn't happy with like the progress he was making in his career, and she was ready to move on, and she wanted someone older, more mature, more established. And we went out a few times and she met this guy and he was really into her. I think that I did see her on Instagram with him riding like bicycles down Coast Highway. But she told him and me, she told both of us, I'm ready to leave my boyfriend, but I'm going to wait till I have someone else lined up. So she was honest about it. She was honest about it. The boyfriend knew she was unhappy, and she told the other guy, I'm not leaving my boyfriend till I have my next relationship lined up. I do not want to be alone. Fair enough. But when I left my husband, I almost didn't leave him because I was only working part-time. And I didn't know if I could afford to live alone. I had a lot of identity in my marriage as well. But I left him so I could keep growing. At the time on Facebook, I wrote, I left him to be more and feel more, because he was repressing my growth. He was not abusive. He was very encouraging of me, but he was repressing my personal expression in the relationship, emotional expression. Keep it down, Shahrazad, keep it down. That's where I left, to be free in my personal growth. I was tired of being suppressed, sexually suppressed in that relationship. That's where I left. I didn't have anyone else lined up. And I think that a powerful way to leave a relationship is to go and live by yourself for a few years. Because, see, in a relationship, a lot of energy and compromises exist that have to consider the other person. And so, you know, a lot of, you know, you have mutual friends, mutual bank accounts, mutual ways of spending weekends or evenings, you know, like dishes I made that he liked that I didn't necessarily like. And there's a part of like, who am I without this guy? It had been decades since I was alone. There's a part of me like, who am I without this guy? I want to discover that. And I do not believe in jumping from one relationship to the next. I want to get my bearings. And I was, you know, it was hard for me to, you know, I didn't relish getting divorced. I liked being married. I was disappointed that my marriage didn't work out. You can read in my book, The Fuck List, or What I Did for Sex. They're now available on Audible and Amazon if you want to read the story. But it was very heartbreaking, and I wanted to find out, who am I without this guy? Can I provide for myself financially? I want to stand on my own feet and be firmly established and solid in myself and show myself that I can make it on my own before I get into another relationship. That was my motto. And I figured I would be alone for a couple years, reestablish my career, and then start dating. I did not realize what the world would be like, because when I got married, it was in the 80s. I did not realize how much the world had changed and how people were like ghosting and all this. And I didn't realize that all these young guys would start hitting on me, and that I would find them, these young guys in their 20s. I started liking them and having sex with them. And then it was hard for me to be interested in older guys. And then I started noticing that I was not really that attracted to older guys. So this isn't about that. This is about the women monkey branch. And some of us would rather be alone than be with some guy. I also hear women are gold diggers. No, some of us are more committed to our personal growth and to our authenticity. And we're not here to use people, deceive people, and lie to people. Some of us actually hold ourselves to a spiritual path or to an authentic path. Some of us actually see relationships as a sacred thing to be cherished, as sacred. And some of us decide that we would rather be alone, like my mother. When my parents divorced because my dad was a philanderer, so they finally divorced. And my mom never dated again, and I'm glad she didn't, because there was no revolving door of men. We had a very stable life. My dad checked in on us. He co-signed the mortgage on my mom's house. He wanted us to have a stable place to live. And he was living with his mistress. They've been married now for a long time. But there was stability in my life. I did not grow up seeing people cheat. I know my dad cheated because my mom told me. But other than the mistress that he eventually married, I never saw him cheat. My mom, my dad was her only boyfriend. I did not see cheating. I did not see that kind of stuff. And I know my dad cheated and hurt my mom. I'm really opposed to that. But anyway, my point being, everyone I know in my family who got divorced and my friends, there was nobody lined up. They left because they were miserable in their marriages and they wanted to be free and they could do it on their own. These women who have someone lined up, there are men who have women lined up. I do not think that it's fair to say women do this, because men do it too. By the way, it's not a masculine trait to go around whining about women and complaining about women, because it's not even based in logic and reality. You men are supposed to be emotionally more stable. You're supposed to be emotionally leaders. You know, today this video came up on YouTube about women over 50 not finding anyone to date. So I'm like, I'm over 50, let me check this out. And it was some guy that was playing these TikTok clips of women that were really sad that they haven't found anyone to date. And he was laughing about it. He thought it was funny. He sounded like a young guy. He thought it was funny. It's like, yeah, these women are so old. No wonder nobody wants them. You know, I think that's very harmful. That's not healthy masculine energy. You know, I feel sad for these women. I would be like, you gotta fix your hair and get a little exercise and get something going on. Yes, girl, you got it. You can do it. Something like that, you know. But he was happy. So I don't think that this negativity is helping us. You know, men happy that women can't find anyone, or saying all women will take your money. That's not true. Again, none of the women I know, including myself, took any money. I didn't get divorce, alimony, or child support. I didn't even ask for it. I didn't want to take money from a guy I'm no longer fucking. Some women actually have principles, and so do men. So this poor behavior, being a victim and using people and cheating and lying, that's not the realm of just women. Men do it too. It's not helpful to turn us against each other like this. You know, I'm a Republican, how can you like Biden? I'm a Democrat, how can you like Trump? Like, none of that is useful, you know, pitting people against each other. And the internet has really amplified that. It used to be that we would look around at the people we knew and say, oh, this is how people get divorced. I don't know any women who made out in the divorce. Do you? All these guys that leave comments, women take all your money in the divorce. Do you know any women who got money in the divorce? I ask them in the comments. They don't ever answer. It's just something they hear guys saying in the manosphere, so they just repeat it back, and it's amplifying hatred to the opposite sex. And these are the exact same things they're leading people to not want to date. Would I want to date a guy that goes around laughing at women who can't get dates, or saying all women monkey branch, or all women are cheaters? I wouldn't want to date a guy like that who's so negative. Already accusing me of lying without having met me, like such a negative attitude. It's not helpful, you guys. It's not helpful. And the government probably likes it, because as long as we're fighting within each other, we're not holding them accountable. The real enemy, if we want to pick one, are the, you know, the upper classes, the politicians who don't give a shit about us. But instead of being mad at the real problem, the inflation, how the politicians don't care, employers don't care, it's easy to just start turning on women or turning on men. You know, all women are bad and all this. You know, where does that hatred come from? It's not even true. I do not know any women who cheated. I did not grow up in that kind of family or community where women cheated. If there were any moms at the school who cheated, they would have hid it from me. I had a friend a few years ago, and she didn't have any problem sleeping around with married men. And I told her I was very upset when I found out. I slammed my knife and fork down at the lunch, and there were 3 of us there, and they were shocked at me. I'm like, why are you sleeping around with this guy who just had a baby? I was very upset with her. We scheduled a phone call to discuss it, because she's a therapist, actually. But I could never respect her after that. I was very judgmental, and a few months later, she ended our friendship. Good. She thought it was fine, because it's just sex. I don't condone that. After my divorce, all those guys I hooked up with, they all had to be single. In hindsight, I think a couple of them were not, but I did not want any part of that. So I'm not gonna, you know, guys can say whatever the fuck they want, but this is me, my video channel, saying that I refuse to be lumped in with these women who monkey branch, who cheat, who lie. I refuse to be lumped in with that. Some of us just believe in an authentic lifestyle and standing on our own 2 feet and contributing to a relationship instead of destroying them. Maybe part of my thing too is that, you know, I didn't have a family life growing up because my dad worked a lot, and I didn't really like being around my dad that much. He's this Persian, kind of controlling guy, you know, we would have these little outbursts. I was glad when my parents divorced. But I had a family life with my husband and my kids. I had a family life, and I fucking loved my family life. That's why I stayed with him so long. He was a really good father. He was very supportive of me, always told me how smart I was. He thought I was better at math than he was, but I don't think so. But you know, if you read my book, you'll see why I divorced him, because sexually, emotionally, he was so repressed that I was so stunted, emotionally stunted. I had to get away. But I liked my family life. That was my family. For 25 years, he was my family. You know, he was my family. And I valued that family life. Now, at this age in my life, like, what would be the reason for getting into a relationship? There has to be a glue. You know, having our kids together was a glue. Having a business together can be a glue. Having grandkids together can be a glue. There has to be a reason. I just don't see a reason. I made a video the other day. It's like, what would I do with a guy when his cock is no longer hard? And someone thought I was very superficial. And yeah, that's how I actually feel. I'm just being honest. I do not know what I would do with the guy all day. Like, what would I do with him? When I was married, we had a purpose. We were building a life together. You know, we bought houses together. We did a lot of house projects, fixed up the houses. We had our kids together. I helped him in his business for a while. You know, we had these shared goals. We saved for our retirement together. You know, we had something. I can't ever have that with some other guy. I can never have that with another guy. So please do not ever, when you catch yourself saying all women do this and all men do that, just be careful, because it's not true. And also, you know, that kind of antagonistic mindset just divides us. We need to unite. That's what we need. We need to unite. And I'm also working on being kinder, friendlier, more patient. I'm doing some things in my personal life, because I think we all have to be kinder to each other. It's so easy to just be selfish and, you know, we have to just be kinder to each other. If you were involved with someone who cheated on you, I think the best thing is to look at why you didn't see it coming. Like in my case, I had to think about why I picked a guy who was emotionally walled off, avoidant, and stonewalled me. Stonewalling is one of the 4 horsemen. Stonewalling, defensiveness, and contempt. I had to look at why I picked someone like that. I had to look at that. Okay, so I looked at that. If you pick a woman who cheated on you, you have to look at why you picked someone like that. What you didn't notice. You know, what you overlooked. That's how you learn. Instead of saying all women are this way, I'm not going to deal with them, you can't trust them. That's not the way to do it. It's like, what can you learn from the choices you made? What could I learn from the choices that I made? So that's the way to do it, is to learn from it. Not to, you know, just paint all people with a blind brush. Like, we're not the enemy of each other. We're not enemies. But some of these guys in the manosphere, they treat women as the enemy. You know, can't trust them. They take all your money. If women took all your money, we'd be rich and you guys would have nothing. Doesn't even make sense. But again, I ask you, do you personally know any women who got money in a divorce or who are getting alimony? I don't know any women getting alimony. Maybe I'm just, you know, don't know enough people. But most men are too broke to pay alimony anyway. And most women are working now, making their own money. And when the woman makes as much as the man, there is nobody paying anybody anything. In fact, I know a woman who had to pay her ex-husband alimony because she made more money than he did. So that's all I want to say. Always think for yourself. Look at the world around you. And be careful of believing everything you hear. even from me. Thank you for watching my video, you guys. Thank you for watching.